Now, this is interesting and true. I worked and behaved and spoke as though I understood that, or believed that essentially everyone is creative and everyone is an artist. It's just how devoted they are to it, how talented they are at it, and that kind of thing. But like art, you know, anything that people do that they're doing it to make something look nice is art. Doesn't matter if it's painting a house or a signature or handwriting or from my point of view, everyone is creative. And everyone's a storyteller. So, if you say, I went to the bank yesterday and cashed a check, that's a story. Not a very good story, not a very interesting story, but it is a story. So the creativity and storytelling are ubiquitous, as a fancy person might say. And so what would distinguish a storyteller from just a regular person that just, tells stories? Everybody tells, longer stories than that, quite often. But how would you distinguish between like a real storyteller and a person who's not really a storyteller? And I don't think it's as simple as saying, okay, this guy's a storyteller because he tells stories. I don't honestly think that. Not quite. Of course, in a sense, that's what a storyteller is. But I think that that you're a storyteller if, as you're experiencing your life, and I do this 100% of the time. Almost. If my brain is just free to go, then what happens is that I'll experience something. Like right now I'm listening to a Lauren Southern video. And so I was just thinking about how would I write about Lauren Southern, and I actually can remember how I did write about Lauren Southern. I said that I admired her, and she was crazy, and she was extreme, and funny, and hilarious, and very knowledgeable, articulate person, and followed her for quite a while, until I realized that she was only about 19 or 20. And it hurt my ego. I'm going, maybe she was older than that, I guess, but yeah, I'm just going, what in holy hell is that, right? But the point is that, just as I'm having an experience, I'm simultaneously thinking about how I would describe it. And so now, like I've been doing this all my life, right? You have one experience, have another experience, and then you're also thinking about how you would describe the experience to somebody, actually describing it. And then you wind up in a situation where this is a little bit peculiar, isn't it? Because what I'm doing right now is something that I've been doing. This isn't educational material, but people have been recording my voice for educational purposes, for learning English, for 30 years. So I have a lot of experience doing this. Some people would use them to fall asleep at night. Some people, probably most of it's been thrown away. But the intention was always, pretty much always, if I could, get a person to buy into the idea that you should just record an English class. And so I'm doing this now, and I'm realizing, like, this makes a lot of sense because it's what I've always done. And I think that storytellers may be what I am, like everybody else, but more. And because so many people have been telling me for so long that I should write my stories down. They just said, like, just definitely just don't, you know, die and not tell these stories. Basically what it amounts to, if you think about it. But the problem is that's an awful lot of work. Writing these stories down. Getting better on the typing speed. Even on my cell phone with one finger, I do all right. I never type on a typewriter anymore. Everything's on a cell phone. But it's pretty grueling. There's a voice recorder. You could use that. That'd be easier. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. It hurts your back and all that. So if I can do this, then problem solved. So I do this. And at the end of the day, I feel like, good man, you got some work done. So that's this. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to keep doing this until I run out of stories, which will never happen, because it would take 2 years probably to do the really good ones. Not 2 years. It would take a long time. And during that time, I would be having, especially my future as it's laid out now, having a lot of adventures over the next 5 or 6 months, for sure. So if I can, I probably won't be able to do it during that period, but there'll be a lot more adventures. So what I'm saying is that by the time I finish describing the ones from the past, I'll have had a lot of new ones, and they'll just get mixed in. And so I think I could do this every day for ever. Especially if it was, really got into those little book reviews and things like that. Or just, like a lot of people do, Gavin McGinnis or something like that. I just watch the news and comment on it. It's pretty easy, I think. And this is a good hobby. And when you listen to yourself after you've done this is something that I learned like way a long time ago, is you start noticing all the really irritating things that you do. And then you can start slowly reducing. I swear too much, for example. So taking out the swearing and the happens when your brain is not really prepared for what you're doing. And those are my two. And I wander around too much. But I guess all I'm trying to say now is that if you talk and record your voice, then you're going to notice the good and the bad, and then you'll eventually become a little better speaker. That's good projects. I like this.